Back then, medicine. The strangest cures people actually used. Honey, leeches, magic, and more. From the moment humans first got sick, we've been trying to figure out how to fix the human body. Sometimes those attempts were brilliant, and other times they were absolutely unbelievable. Today, we're traveling back through history to explore the strangest, most shocking, and surprisingly clever medical cures people actually used. From honey-covered wounds, to leeches draining your blood, to magical spells whispered over the sick. This is the bizarre story of medicine back then. Let's begin. Imagine you're sick. There are no hospitals, no antibiotics, no doctors with white coats. Instead, you're ushered into a smoky room. A healer squints at you, mutters something mystical, brings out bugs, potions, blood-draining worms, and maybe a prayer to the gods for good measure. And here's the craziest part. Some of it actually worked. While other treatments, let's just say you'd hope to survive the cure before worrying about the illness. Honey, the sweet miracle cure. If you lived thousands of years ago and suffered a wound, your doctor probably wouldn't give you antibiotics because antibiotics didn't exist yet. Instead, they gave you honey. Ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Vikings, and even medieval knights believed in honey as medicine. And it wasn't just superstition. Honey wasn't poured on wounds as a random guess. They learned through experience that wounds treated with honey got infected less and healed faster. They used it on battle wounds, burns, infections, and ulcers. And unlike many ancient treatments, honey actually works. Honey contains natural antibacterial properties. It sucks moisture out of bacteria, stopping them from multiplying. It forms a protective barrier and keeps wounds moist while preventing infection. In ancient Egypt, honey medicine was so respected that doctors had recipes written on papyrus scrolls telling exactly how to mix honey with herbs and animal fats. It wasn't just a folk cure, it was an official medical treatment. Some cultures even believed honey was a gift from the gods, sweet medicine sent to heal humanity. And honestly, compared to what's coming next, honey sounds like a luxury spa treatment. Leeches and bloodletting, when doctors believed your blood was the problem. Now let's jump to one of the most infamous medical treatments in all of history, leeches. For thousands of years, humans believed that most sickness came from imbalances in the body's fluids, called humors. So the solution? Get rid of some blood. Doctors believed draining blood would remove bad humors, reduce fever, cure headaches, treat infections, fix swelling, and even heal mental illness. Yes, if life hurt you emotionally, the doctor would still treat it with leeches. Leeches were placed on the skin and allowed to drink until they were full. And these weren't tiny little worms. Some could swell up 10 times their size, dripping with blood when removed. If leeches weren't available, no problem. Doctors simply cut veins open manually. Elegant? No. Painful? Very. And here's the shocking part. This wasn't some primitive tribal idea. This was respected, professional, educated medicine. At one point, barbers performed bloodletting, which is why the barber pole has red and white spirals, symbolizing bandages and blood. Kings, nobles, peasants, everyone was bled. Even George Washington was treated with severe bloodletting shortly before he died. Did it work? Sometimes, very rarely, it could help certain conditions like pressure swelling, but most of the time, it made people much weaker and sometimes killed them faster than the illness. Yet for over 2,000 years, this remained one of the most trusted medical procedures on Earth. Magic, spells, and supernatural medicine. Before science explained germs and bacteria, sickness felt mysterious. Sudden illness seemed like punishment, curses, angry spirits, or supernatural imbalance. So many cultures turned to magic as medicine. Ancient Mesopotamia believed sickness was caused by demons, so healers performed rituals, burned incense, recited spells, and used symbolic objects to fight evil. Egyptian healing scrolls combined real ingredients with spoken incantations. They might mix honey or herbs, but they'd also whisper sacred words over the sick. In medieval Europe, people wore charms and amulets for protection. Bones, carved stones, saint relics, even animal parts believed to hold power. Some cures included whispering spells over boils, writing prayers on bread and eating it, drinking holy water, placing relics on the chest, sleeping in shrines for divine healing. And while most of these didn't physically cure disease, they did something strangely powerful. They gave people hope. When you didn't understand why illness struck, believing a higher power could save you brought psychological relief. And in a world without medicine, hope itself was sometimes medicine. Herbs, roots, and the wisdom of nature. Now let's talk about something surprisingly advanced. While many ancient medical ideas sound wild, nature-based healing was often incredibly intelligent. Before pharmacies existed, the world was the pharmacy. Ancient China developed complex herbal medicine systems. Indian Ayurveda studied the body, diet, and plant healing for thousands of years. Indigenous cultures across the world carried deep knowledge of healing plants. Willow bark was used to treat pain and fever. Thousands of years later, scientists discovered it contains salicylic acid, the foundation of aspirin. Garlic was used as a natural antibiotic. Peppermint calmed stomach pain. Lavender soothed nerves. Ginger settled nausea. Opium poppies relieved pain. Powerful and dangerous. Herbalism wasn't random guessing. It was trial and observation, passed down generation after generation. Of course, not every herbal cure was safe. Some plants healed, others were poisonous. But many traditional remedies laid the foundation for modern medical medicine. What ancient healers discovered through experience, modern science later confirmed through chemistry. It turns out, nature had been quietly holding some of the world's greatest medicines all along. Smoke, fire, and bizarre body treatments. Now let's get weirder. Some historical cures sound more like torture techniques than medicine. Burning herbs over the body, cupping, cauterizing wounds with hot metal, making patients inhale smoke to cleanse the lungs. Some cultures used smoke to sterilize wounds. Others believed deep heat could chase illness away. One of the strangest ancient medical techniques is trepanation, drilling holes into someone's skull. Yes, really. Ancient surgeons carefully cut through bone to release evil spirits, treat migraines, epilepsy, or head injuries. Believe it or not, some patients survived, and their skulls healed with clear surgical precision marks. Painful? Absolutely. Unbelievable? Completely. Proof of human desperation to heal? Without question. Surgery before modern medicine. Imagine surgery without anesthesia. No numbing injections, just sharp tools and bravery. Ancient surgeons performed amputations, stitched wounds with animal gut strings, and tried basic operations. Some ancient Indian physicians even pioneered early plastic surgery techniques. In battlefield medicine, speed meant survival. Doctors had to be quick, steady, and fearless. Tools were often metal, bone, or stone. Sterilization wasn't fully understood, but some cultures instinctively washed instruments in boiling water, wine, or vinegar, unknowingly reducing infection slightly. Surgery back then was a terrifying gamble. Some lived, many didn't. But every painful attempt pushed medicine forward, step by step, generation by generation. When food was medicine. Long before nutrition became a science, people believed what you eat shapes your health.
Ancient Greeks promoted balanced diet and exercise. Traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda used diet to restore bodily harmony. Certain foods were believed to cool, warm, strengthen blood, or calm the body. Sometimes they were right. Sometimes they prescribed strange things like crushed shells, powdered gemstones, or animal organs as treatment. But overall, ancient healers understood a core truth. The body runs on what you feed it, and this idea eventually evolved into modern nutrition. Faith, community, and human hope. Perhaps the most powerful cure of all wasn't an herb, a bug, or a charm. It was faith and care. Doctors, priests, shamans, midwives, grandmothers, and healers, even when they lacked scientific knowledge, offered the most essential human medicine: compassion, comfort, belief that healing was possible. Being surrounded by people who cared reduced stress, brought emotional strength, and often improved survival. Medicine wasn't just physical, it was deeply human. Closing. Looking back, it's easy to laugh at strange cures: leeches, magic spells, smoke baths, skull drilling. But these bizarre attempts came from curiosity, desperation, and the desire to save lives. Human beings never stopped trying to heal, even when the world made no sense. And every experiment, every mistake, every strange cure paved the path to modern medicine. So next time you grab a simple painkiller, remember the thousands of years of messy, painful, imaginative, and unbelievable medical history that brought us here. Because back then, survival depended on courage, creativity, and hope. And that might be the most powerful medicine of all.